Welcome back. So today I am going to prove Jensen's inequality. Uh, this inequality is one of the most widely used ones in mathematics, and it underlies many of the basic results in information theory. What it says is that if f is a convex function and x is a random variable, then expected value of f of x is greater than or equal to f of the expected value of x. So, so this is what the basic inequality is. Now, to prove this inequality, first we are going to use the principle of induction. So by mathematical induction, we are going to prove it. So first, we will prove it for two mass point distribution, two mass point distribution, and that is like n is equal to 2. It's like n is equal to 2, and then for any n. So what I mean to say is, in the for the two mass point distribution, we will have two random variables x1 and x2, and I am going to only do the discrete case in the proof. The proof can of course be extended to continuous distributions by continuity argument, but I am going to restrict the proof to the discrete case only. So, so if you have uh, two random variables x1 and x2 with probability p1 and p2, then what is the expected value of x? This is going to be p1 x1 plus p2 x2, and you know that probabilities are non-zero and they sum to 1. So you can easily see that this has become now the convex combination of x1 and x2. Is it not? So you are now dealing with a convex set, and f is a function which is a convex function on this convex set. Is it not? So therefore, now given that f is convex over set x, what will you say? What can you say directly from the definition of from the definition of convexity? What can you say? F of p1 x1 plus p2 x2 will be less than or equal to f of p1 of fx1 plus p2 of x2. Is it not? Or in other words, f of the expected value of x is less than or equal to the expected value of f of x, because this is nothing but the expected value of f of x. Is it not? Probability of fx1 is p1 and probability of fx2 is p2. So therefore the expected value is p1 fx1 in the two mass point distribution, p1 fx1 plus be 2 fx2. So the proof for the case n is equal to 2 follows mostly from directly from the definition. Now our idea of proving by induction means that next step is we will assume now that it is true for a a k mass point distribution, and then show that it will be true for a k plus 1 mass point distribution. So then, since we have shown that it is true for n is equal to 2, it means that therefore it will be true for n is equal to 3. Then therefore, once it becomes true for n equal to 3, then it is therefore by induction true for n is equal to 4, and so on. And at the end of the day, it becomes overall a valid inequality. So to prove this, first thing that I am going to a small result which I am going to put up is that again using arguments of induction, I am going to say what I am saying is inductively x1 x2 to xn are endpoints in a convex set. If these are endpoints in a convex set, then lambda 1 x1 plus lambda 2 x2 and so on up to lambda n xn, where lambda i's are greater than or equal to 0 and they sum to 1, is a convex combination of n points of a convex set. Okay, so let's first of all prove this proof. Notice that I have already used the term inductively, so I am going to notice that I have already used the term inductively here. So I am going to prove it by induction. So it is trivially true for k equal to 2, some k equal to 2 or n equal to 2. Why? Because lambda 1 x1 plus lambda 2 x2, x1 and x2 coming from the convex set S, and lambda 1 lambda 2 greater than or equal to 0 and summing to 1 is essentially the definition of the convex combination. This is how we had defined convex combination to begin with. So now assume that it is true for some k greater than or equal to 2. Then to prove that it is also true for k plus 1. This is what we are going to do. So what we are going to do is, uh, so what we are going to do is, or we yeah, okay. So what we are going to do is we write p1 x1 plus, not p. P is for probability. Lambda is the what we are going to use here. Lambda 1 x1 plus lambda 2 x2 and so on up to lambda n lambda k xk plus lambda k plus 1. We are going to look at this combination, correct? And what I am going to do is I am going to group this combination as first k terms and the k plus 1 term. Now what is given to me? It is given to me that lambda 1 plus lambda 2 up to lambda k plus lambda k plus 1 is equal to 1. Okay, so what does that mean? That means lambda 1 plus lambda 2 up to lambda k is nothing but 1 minus lambda k plus 1. So now I will multiply the term in the first bracket by 1 minus lambda k plus 1 and rewrite this as 1 minus lambda k plus 1 plus lambda 2 by 1 minus lambda k plus 1 plus lambda k by 1 minus lambda k plus 1. Here will come x1, here will come x2, here will come xk plus lambda k plus 1, xk plus 1. This is the way I am going to write it, by multiplying and dividing the first term here by 1 minus lambda k plus 1, multiplying and dividing by 1 minus lambda k plus 1. Now let's call this as lambda 1 dash, lambda 2 dash and lambda n dash. Okay. Now all of these lambda i's here are greater than or equal to 0. All the lambda i's from I equal to 1 to k plus 1 are all greater than or equal to 0. That's the part, that's where we started, right? I mean, that all of them are, we started that all of them are, all of these lambda i's are greater than or equal to 0 and they should sum to 1. Then we should be able to say that this is also a convex combination. That's what we are trying to hit at. So now what is the summation of lambda 1 dash plus lambda 2 dash up to lambda n dash? This is nothing but lambda, denominator 1 minus lambda k1 is common. Numerator is going to be lambda, I'm sorry, lambda 1 plus lambda 2 up to summation of lambda k by 1 minus lambda k plus 1. But this is 1 minus lambda k plus 1 by 1 minus lambda k plus 1. But what is this? This is 1. And because each of the lambda i's are greater than 0 and lambda k plus 1 is also less than 1 and greater than or equal to 0, so all of these numbers are between 0 and 1 and together they sum to 1. And x1, x2 and xk up to xk, all of them are points from the convex set. So by the hypothesis that let it be true for some k, we now know that this point belongs to the convex set. This point here belongs to the convex set, being convex combination of k points from convex set. This is the how induction hypothesis is there, right? That let it be true, let it be true for some k, which basically means that this is a convex. If this is a combination of convex combination, then the resultant point also is in the convex set, in the convex set. So now whatever this point is, this is in set, convex set, xk plus 1 is in convex set, and these are the weighing terms associated with them, 1 minus lambda k plus 1 and lambda k plus 1. Lambda k plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Together they sum to 1. So you are essentially looking at convex combination of the 2 points only, which is trivially a point in the set S. Set is trivially the point in the convex set. Is it trivially a point in your convex set, is it not? Hence, what it means is that this combination, what it means is that this combination also belongs to this combination also this combination also, what we have proved is belongs to the convex set X, and hence we can say that this is also k plus 1 is also a convex combination. So assuming this to be assuming this to be so what we have said, we have shown is that this if it is true for k, that the convex combination is actually in the convex set, then it will also happen with k plus 1. So we had a starting point at n equal k equal to 2 with trivially, and so inductively it is now valid all over. Now using this fact, we can now give one more proposition, which is extending the similar argument to convex functions. We can say that if lambda 1 x1 plus lambda 2 x2 xn is a convex combination, xi's come from the set S, a convex set, okay, lambda is greater than or equal to 0, and lambda is sum to 1. So what I have here in the parenthesis is a convex combination of the endpoints in the set S. Then inductively we can say that this is going to be less than or equal to lambda 1 f of uh, f of x of 1 plus lambda 2 f of x of 2, and so on up to lambda n f of x of n. So how do you do this proof? The proof is going to proceed in exactly the same line as I shown you as I shown you I have shown you above. It is trivially true. Sorry, it is trivially true for n equal to 2. So now you assume, because f of lambda 1 x1 plus lambda 2 x2 will be less than or equal to lambda times of f of x of 1 plus lambda 2 times of f of x of 2. So it is trivially true for n equal to true. Now assume that it is true for some k and prove it for k plus 1. That's all we have to do. So, so, the way to proceed is again going to be very similar, right? Regroup the terms as plus lambda n plus 1 xn plus 1, where sigma lambda I equal to 1 plus n plus 1 is equal to 1, lambda I is greater than or equal to 0. Then multiply and divide by the first group of n terms, multiply and divide by 1 minus lambda of n plus 1, and keeping this term intact. Now apply f function over this, the convex function over this, and both these points, this I mean this point is a convex combination of x1 to xn, so belongs to our set S. So it belongs to our set S, and the other point anyway belongs to our set S, and these weights sum to identity and are greater than or equal to 0. So therefore, by this is convex combination of 2 points in the convex set, and f being a convex function, this is going to be less than or equal to f of this is going to be being a convex combination of just 2 points in the convex set is going to be less than or equal to 1 minus lambda n plus 1 f of lambda 1 dash x1 plus lambda 2 dash x2 up to lambda n dash xn plus lambda n plus 1 f of xn plus 1. But now for n for the level n, we can easily expand this term as lambda 1 less than or equal to f of lambda 1 dash of f of x of 1 plus lambda 2 dash of f of x of 2 up to lambda n dash of f of x of n plus lambda n plus 1 f of x of n plus 1. And now substitute for each of these lambda I dash as lambda 1 by 1 minus lambda n plus 1, lambda 2 by 1 minus lambda n plus 1, and so on up to lambda n divided by 1 minus lambda n plus 1. Then what will happen? This factor 1 minus lambda n1 and this factor 1 minus lambda n1 will cancel out. So this will become lambda 1. After this multiplied by this will give you lambda 1. This multiplied by this will give you lambda 2, and so on. So therefore this will become equal to lambda 1 f of x of 1 plus lambda 2 f of x of 2, and so on up to lambda n f of x of n plus lambda n plus 1 f of x of n plus 1. So prior to that we have a less than or equal to, prior to that also we have a less than or equal to, and prior to that this is the f applied over the convex function, f convex function. So therefore we have shown now by induction argument that this up to lambda n plus 1 x in general, we have shown that this is going to be this is going to be less than or equal to lambda 1 f of x of 1 plus lambda 2 f of x of 2 up to lambda n f of x of n, provided that this is a this is a convex combination of the endpoints from the set S. So once we have proved this, now coming back to the Jensen's inequality, proof of Jensen's inequality, it becomes a one-liner with these two properties of convex sets and functions. Practically, it becomes one-liner. Lambda 1 is P1, lambda 2 is P2, lambda n is Pn, and x1 and x2, those are your random variables with the probability P1, P2 and to Pn. So f of P1 x1 plus P2 x2 up to Pn xn is less than or equal to P1 times of f of x of 1 plus P2 times of f of x of 2 and so on up to Pn times of f of x of n. In other words, f of expected value of x is less than or equal to expected value of f of x. So this is one very important application of convex functions that is extensively used in mathematics and information theory. Thank you.